Hey everyone, it's Kinetic Affect again. We hope you enjoyed our last video and that you were able to take at least one of the helpful tips we provided to make your daily routine and your life a little bit better.
And remember, don't be too hard on yourself because anytime you start something new, there's bound to be some difficulty and failure along the way. So I'll give you an example because I am an expert failure person, a person who fails a lot, for example, in that sentence. And I have so many stories, but one in particular I want to share with you is when I was a high school English teacher, I was so passionate and so excited to teach the students, and I wanted them to have such a good time that I would do crazy things like jump up on the desk, sing songs, and dance. Yeah, it was a little ridiculous. But one time in particular, during the winter, I decided to jump up on the side counter near the open window, which I then slipped off the counter because it was wet and fell out my two-story window. And that didn't feel very good. And it made me feel also just kind of stupid. But oddly enough, when I ran back into that room, my students all stood up and gave me a standing ovation. The reason why I share this with you is because it just goes to show that what's really important is not necessarily the outcome of what it is you're trying to do. So the outcome wasn't what I was expected, but my students knew that I was really excited and trying to make teaching and learning fun, and they appreciated that. So in the long run, remember, that's what it's about. It's about embracing the process along the way and knowing that and being aware of that. Remember that if you're struggling, it's all okay. That failure is a part of that learning process. And if you need some more inspiration and a reminder of just that, please check out this performance we did at TEDx Detroit.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirk Latimer.
My name is Gabriel Jerome.
And together we are known as Kinetic Affect.
Now, most people have a fear of failure. But if we let fear prevent us from taking necessary risks in our lives, we miss out on the opportunity to live our best lives.
In fact, one of the greatest philosophers of our time, Mike Tyson, once said that in order to succeed greatly, you need to be prepared to fail greatly. And if you can't do both, then you got a problem.
When I was 18 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 3B testicular cancer. By the time they found it, it had spread throughout my entire body. During my 3-year battle with cancer, I underwent numerous surgeries that left me not only scarred, but also feeling like a failure, feeling like I was at my lowest, because I had moments where I couldn't stand on my own, moments where I could not sit up without asking for help, moments where I couldn't even eat without the assistance of someone else. But they taught me some of the greatest life lessons, not just about my own self, but about how to truly succeed in life. And that's what we're here to talk about.
As a matter of fact, I am no stranger to failure either. I'm married, so I get to feel like that a little bit each day. Yeah, and you know, the only reason why you're laughing and clapping is because you know it's damn true.
The reality is we all go through failures. Every single person in this room has experienced failure in their life.
Especially you. He goes, yep.
The question you have to ask yourself, though, is when you get knocked down, when you're facing that failure, are you going to stay down?
Or are you going to get back up on your feet? If you haven't failed in life, you haven't lived. Because failure tells us that we've taken a risk.
That we're still challenging our own limitations. It's only when we cross the boundary of our comfort zone that we begin to open the lid of who we are.
And rid yourself of the box that everyone tells you to think outside of. And history favors the risk takers. Because only those who risk going too far can find out how far we can actually go.
You'll never read about anyone throughout history who successfully inspired change.
Because they followed the crowd.
Because they played it safe.
Because they cared too much about what other people thought about them. Remember that Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life.
It's only when you jump blindly from your nest that you can experience the act of flying.
You just have to be willing to spread your wings and trust that you're meant to soar to heights you never thought possible from the comfort of your fear.
Don't allow the things that scare you to keep you grounded. Instead,
become like the Wright brothers after their first crash and be willing to collide into the dirt, to turn the toughest moments of your life into the burst of wind you need to get you airborne.
so that one day you can see what the bottom looks like from the clouds.
And even though you know your eyes can't see past the horizon, it doesn't mean that the world ends at the sunset. They won't teach you this in school.
You can't sign up for Failure 101, only audit and observe, so when you graduate,
You can navigate the real world, the place where 99% of the things you will experience aren't taught.
the place where you will find that the rules and lessons you learned in school
Don't apply, because in school, the most successful students are the people who make the fewest mistakes.
But in life, the most successful professionals are the people who learn to turn their mistakes
into masterpieces,
artists who have discovered that you can't really figure out how something works until you
break
it
apart. And they'll probably call you crazy for your beliefs, because that's what passion inspires.
It inspires the outrageous,
The wild.
and it turns the impossible
into the incredible, like cell phones and spaceships.
or sharing parts of yourself with complete strangers, and in the process,
Becoming friends. That's what happens when you take risks. Sometimes you create amazing things that change the way we live, but often we fail.
You have to, because mistakes are a part of the learning process.
Success,
And failure,
they hold hands. You just have to be willing to jump off the deep end.
because pearls don't lie on the seashore.
If you want one, you have to dive to the bottom and take it. It's only when you dig deep that you can plant the seeds that will grow into something beautiful.
And we'll guarantee that when you wake up in the morning,
you still feel alive. It doesn't matter where you start.
it doesn't matter where you end.
What matters most
is what you do in between,
the steps it took you to get to wherever you are.
and the times you got back up after you fell.
So dust yourself off. Start chasing your dreams.
And start living a life that will leave you with a smile on your face
and a strong heartbeat in your chest. And start that life today. Start by taking a risk.
Start by learning from your failures.
And start to appreciate the scars you have that remind you that you lived a life worth living.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed that video. I wanted to be able to provide one more tip that I've been able to utilize to improve my days and bring a little bit more balance into my life. Essentially what I did was I just created a very simple graph. I used an Excel sheet, but you can just use a piece of paper like this. And what I did was I put the dates on one side, and then I have a space where I can rate my day on a scale of 1 to 10. But more importantly, what I did was next to that, I wrote down one thing I have within my control that I could have done or not do to make my day better. And then one thing that I did throughout my day that actually made the day as good as it was. What these two bits of information allow you to do is make small adjustments in your life day by day that will help you find more balance so you don't reach those low lows. For example, one thing that helped really early on was I noticed I was spending more time on social media, but it never made me feel better. I wrote that down one day. The next day, I decreased my exposure to social media, and I noticed that it actually helped. So as the shelter in place continued on, I spent less and less time on social media, and the result was I ended up feeling better and my days were more consistent.
I think I need to be taking some of that advice, to be honest. So Gabriel's really good with numbers and scales and Excel spreadsheets, and that's great. And I'm sure a lot of you might be like that too. But for someone like me, I'm a little simpler, okay? So for me, all I really do that makes a difference is make a to-do list of things I can realistically achieve in a day. Because when I was just sitting around, I wasn't doing as much. I was really just starting to feel empty. My days started blurring into one another. Didn't feel as progressive. So I realized that getting something done made my days have more meaning, even if it was so simple, like folding the laundry, cleaning the inside of my car, doing things where I didn't really have a specific outcome, just the process of doing it and getting it done. See, it was about doing something achievable. And I found that even if I did one tiny, almost insignificant thing, my day felt so much better. And that's what's most important for me.
So as you can see, making small lists and being able to track things so you can see them on your own can be extremely helpful. And again, if you have any questions or need resources to get started on your journey, feel free to find us on social media, follow us and shoot us a message, or go to kineticaffect.com, and that has links to all our social media platforms. Reach out, we're available, we're here, and we're not going anywhere. So, of course, there is a wealth of information already in your community and online. If you have a phone or a computer, it's just a call or a Google search away. So use that device to better yourself and increase the tools you have at your disposal, and not just watch funny cat videos. Okay, they are really funny, and laughing is extremely important right now. So do some good work and then reward yourself with something that makes you happy.
Yeah, see, self-rewarding is really important for someone like me. Back when I was in high school, I didn't really understand that concept, and I was really not a good student. When I got into college, though, it is probably the one thing that made it most effective for me was dedicating my time to work, and then when I was done, I would reward myself. And lately, these days, what I do for reward is lay on the couch and maybe watch some Netflix, binge some shows, or try to play some video games with my son, which I enjoy doing. I'm just not good at it. Trust me, he'll tell you. I love decorating, rearranging things, whatever it is you need to do that gives you a sense of peace and self-satisfaction. Then really what we're doing is just providing a few ideas, okay? We don't have all the answers, even though sometimes I know we think we do, but you can find your own. Maybe you discover something that works for you. The whole point is when you have an emptiness or an empty space, don't leave it empty. And try not to fill it with something that's not good for you or not doing what you wanted to do in your day. You know, fill it with something that you love, something you enjoy, something that you know is good for you and you feel good about. And don't worry about trying new things and falling short, or maybe even, you know, falling out your window. Because ultimately what really matters is that you get back up off the ground, you learn from your experience, and then you get back at it. But maybe this time a little bit wiser and a little bit stronger than before.
So thank you again for watching this video, and thank you to Allegan Community Mental Health for your care, your support, and for your love. We hope that we get a chance to connect with all of you sometime in the near future in person when this pandemic is finally over.
It's not over yet.
Peace.